Oh God, it's
The
just
casting process, perhaps.
the casting process was very interesting. The way we found Michael Rooker. Uh, Again, we were working, we were casting out of Richard Fire's apartment, which during the course of the process, we wrote it partly at his old apartment, which was on Clark Street across from the park. But then they moved. He and his wife at the time, Wendy, moved up to Hollywood and Lakeshore, and one of those there's those twin tower buildings right there, and we were up there, and we were casting from up in Richard's apartment. And there, whenever companies would come to town, they would give Michael, some thug walk-on role, but it was his first role of any consequence. And so anyway, we were looking for the actors. I think Tommy Tolles had worked with Richard in the Organic Theater, and so had Tracy Arnold. And so I think we'd cast them first, but we were looking for Henry, and as I say, I remember there was one actor who was a little bit older, and he wasn't really sexy in the way Michael was, but he was good. And we were thinking, that we were going to cast him, but that we would have to change the relationship between he and Becky into more of a fatherly father figure for her rather than a lover. And I remember this other actor, he was a young actor, Chicago actor, who came in, and we offered him the part. He was a young, good-looking type guy, and he was like, well, he was in the theater, and this was just much too beneath him to even consider. He turned the role down. We offered him, he could have been Henry,
Whatever happened to him?
I have never seen nor heard from the young man again. I have no idea. But he was much too important to do such a thing. And so we're going to hire this other guy. And in my heart, I was going, yeah, this guy's a good actor, but he's not the perfect guy. And I go, life isn't perfect, so we'll hire a good actor and we'll work with it. And in the meantime, our makeup artist, one of our makeup artists, our special effects makeup artist, Jeff Siegel, said, well, I know this actor. I worked with him in this play, and he's, blah, blah, blah. You want to see? Sure, we'll see anybody. So we're at Richard's apartment, and there's a knock on the door. Well, it was on the 26th floor. I mean, he called up, but comes up. There's a knock on the door. Go over and open the door. I opened the door as I remember it. And Richard had this round table in the kitchen that we used to work from. Richard was sitting at the table, and I opened the door, and here was Michael, and he was wearing the clothes he wore in the movie. I mean, he came dressed as Henry. And then he talked with that voice of his, and he sat and he read, and it was just like I was just like, there here's the guy, what you couldn't. I mean, I could go to Los Angeles and cast for a year and not find anybody as perfect as this guy is. So, he read, and he was like amazing, and we talked to him, and I think he was pretty much in character, and he was a little on the scary side at the time, because I thought, is this guy, the question became after he left the room, after he left the audition, is this guy really like that? Is he acting, or is he really like this? And he was also up for something at Steppenwolf, some small part in a musical based on Randy Newman songs. And of course, Steppenwolf was very prestigious, and we weren't. And from his point of view, it was like, gee, I could be in Steppenwolf, and before the picture was made, just working from the script and stuff, people considered it to be a pretty sleazy project, Henry, and but he agreed to do, and Lisa Dedman was the woman who was working as a line producer, and it was all being run out of my apartment, which was on Armitage at the time. And Michael left, and I sort of almost like listened to make sure that he was on the elevator. And I just hit that phone and said, Lisa, we got to hire this guy. I don't care. I said, this guy's going to be a movie star. We've got to get this guy for this role. And fortunately, he chose to do Henry rather than the Steppenwolf play. So.